From 2002 to 2008, Beckett Unofficial Yu-gi-oh Collector was the primordial version of the online Yu-gi-oh scene. For those in the audience too young to remember zines, physical media was sold in stores and by subscriptions. Magazines were printed for even niche topics of interest, the progenitor of personalized content, and the precursor to internet exchanges such as forums, and eventually the ultimate form of individualized content being YouTube. But I am getting a bit ahead of myself. This is Beckett Unofficial Yu-gi-oh Collector. This copy was purchased at EB Games, which might be a bit of a nostalgia trip in itself considering that EB Games merged with GameStop in 2005, 14 years before the filming of this video. Even GameStop might close down in the near future. Currently, I own issues 3, 6, and 2 copies of issue number 29 for some reason. What is more bizarre is that I was given this from a friend, both issues, so he had 2 copies originally. Well, I appreciate it, Trayvon. This is issue 28. It's so elusive that the wiki didn't have it listed at the time of filming, so I did my civic service and edited the wiki. The covers were pretty well illustrated, even if Irenaeus looks a little derpy. The real standouts are the holographic covers, which hopefully show up fairly well on film, but enough twiddling with the gimmicks of the past. Let's get down to the main draw of the magazines, the articles. There was quite a variety of content in the magazines. News articles, promotions, deck profiles, and of course the mainstay of the preceding Beckett guides, price lists for the cards. The price guides are an anachronism in themselves, given volatile price fluctuations and frequent reprints. The prices are definitely out of date now, but I can imagine that some of them were wrong by the time the product was printed, shipped, then bought. Online distributors have outmoded this facet of the magazine, especially with the rising popularity of market watches in the secondary market. But at the time, what on earth is that? Have you ever seen an OCG card so weird you just think to yourself, what would the English name be? Or just, what is this about? Bizarre. I actually recognize this one though. This is the uncensored OCG art for Soul of the Pure in a magazine designed for children. Speaking of art, fan art was featured in each issue. The quality range was pretty wide since the art was sent in from children to teens. Honestly, some of it is of professional quality. I hope Roman went on to do great things, because this is fantastic. Rebecca had an interesting submission. So interesting that they featured her art twice in the same issue. But my absolute favorite submission is Armed X-Head B Dragon over here. I'm going to do a quick card review from this fan-submitted card. Divine Attribute, Level 15, Dragon Fusion Effect Monster. The materials are Red Eyes B Dragon, Armed Dragon, presumably any of them, and X-Head Cannon. The rules text is, quote, "This card's attack increases by 500 for every card in your opponent's graveyard, and defense increases by 300. Attack 7,450 attack points, with a measly 4,500 defense points." Just let that sink in. 7,450 attack points. And it only gets stronger based on the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. Such a strong tempo push. But it still loses out to kaijus. It is good to see that the custom card creation scene was alive in 2006, and I hope Bronson found the custom card creators available online now. Another aspect of the magazines outmoded by the internet was the news articles. Although there was anime and game reviews, I'm going to mention the ban lists and spoilers in particular. Today we have no clue when the next ban list will be out, but back in the day, they were regularly scheduled, and a recap was included in the issue directly after the list was published. Without internet access, this was probably the only way to hear about the new ban list. The other topic was set spoilers. The online constant drip feed of spoilers, official or otherwise, allows constant minute-to-minute updates on future products. But there is something special about seeing all the cards in a book, getting to see the artwork and theorycraft based on the new cards before the new set comes out. The Japanese translations were not always the best though, and given the gift of hindsight, some of them are hilarious. Let's have a quick top 10 mistranslated spoilers now. Deadly Hamster, Seductive Shadow, Punching Worm, Thousand Eyes False Cult God, Grudge, Strange Shaped Follower, Danzarug, Thoughtless Avarice, Coward, God Idol of Evil. And as a bonus, I learned that the OCG name of Pharaoh's Servant was Thousand Eyes Bible, which in my opinion is a fantastic title for a set. But then again, I am partial to the influence of Thousand Eyes False Cult God. It is a little weird to think that an unofficial Yu-Gi-Oh magazine would have such great promotion for the core game, without endorsement from Konami. That being said, there was quite a lot of native advertising on the pages. There are the standard Yu-Gi-Oh products, but also some of the weirder side products like Dungeons and Dice Monsters, and even a Hot Wheels tie-in. I might look at some of the side products next year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Nostalgia Month. What confuses me is the promotions for other games like Beyblade and Magic. They presume there would probably be some crossover in the fan bases. It is a trip to see the old Zatch Bell and Harry Potter card games, which I hope I will talk about one day. Then there are the more bizarre ads for card games like Chaotix and Hulk. Hulk had a card game. Hulk. I can't even name a character in the Hulk comics outside of She-Hulk and Red Hulk. Overall, these magazines offered a lot of valuable information on the game, and I think they even helped me to improve as a duelist. It is no stretch of the imagination to say that Beckett offered a microcosm of today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Internet culture, as well as offering patrons a sense of community outside of their locals. This magazine is definitely among the influences towards my interest into the theoretical end of card games, but it was not my first. If Beckett was the print incarnation of the primordial Yu-Gi-Oh! Internet, then this book was the inverse. Next week, we look at Pojo's book,